A large group of Russian troops prepares to launch an offensive. They've assembled over 100 soldiers. Their goal, a surprise attack on Ukrainian defenses. But just before they deployed, a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone spotted the Russian formation. It quickly relayed the coordinates to the rocket forces. HIMARS operators loaded the munitions and headed to the launch site. Once in position, the commander input the Russian troop coordinates. After the recon team verified the data, the HIMARS opened fire. Cluster munitions instantly destroyed 3 Russian trucks. Follow-up strikes took out the remaining 3 vehicles. In the end, over 100 Russian soldiers were killed. Thanks to intel and precise HIMARS strikes, the Russian offensive ended before it even began. Ukrainian forces spotted a Russian Buk air defense system deployed in an open Ukrainian field. A recon drone reported the coordinates to the rocket forces. After receiving the target's position, Ukrainian troops moved to the launch zone. As HIMARS arrived, Ukrainian troops immediately fired. The precision strike triggered an ammo explosion. The Russian air defense system was completely destroyed. Another similar air defense system was then targeted. After a recon drone sent the coordinates to HIMARS, missiles were launched right away. Meanwhile, the Russian crew of the air defense system detected the incoming threat. They launched a missile to intercept. The first HIMARS missile was shot down, but Russia's luck didn't last long. A second missile was already inbound. It struck the target directly, triggering a massive explosion. The night sky lit up with the burning missiles. The $25 million air defense system was completely destroyed. Russian self-propelled artillery was set up, ready to strike Ukrainian positions. A Ukrainian drone locked onto the location and relayed it to the HIMARS operators. A strike was launched immediately. HIMARS hit the target precisely. The artillery erupted in flames. A few minutes later, the fire spread to the ammo depot. This triggered a chain of explosions. The truck's ammunition detonated violently. Fiery metal fragments flew through the air. Russian soldiers were on a recon mission, launching a drone to identify targets deep inside Ukraine. But this time, the tables turned. Ukrainian drones had already been monitoring the area. Once the Russian recon team was spotted, coordinates were immediately sent to HIMARS. HIMARS operators moved into position and opened fire. The missile struck the Russian vehicle directly. Their reconnaissance mission ended abruptly. Another Russian self-propelled gun was spotted. It was moving toward a firing position. A Ukrainian drone continued tracking it. Once it stopped, HIMARS launched its strike. The missile hit the target dead on. Ammunition ignited and burned. The recon drone confirmed the strike's success. Russian troops prepared to launch an attack. They gathered armored vehicles in an occupied Ukrainian city. They began refueling. But they didn't realize a Ukrainian drone was tracking their every move. As the armored convoy stopped to refuel, HIMARS launched a strike. The missile landed precisely. 4 armored vehicles were destroyed in flames. A Russian artillery piece was bombarding Ukrainian lines. After locking onto the target from above, a Ukrainian drone relayed the coordinates to HIMARS. The crew responded with immediate fire. HIMARS delivered a precision strike. The Russian artillery was engulfed in flames. A Ukrainian drone flew in to assess the damage. A Russian brigade had set up a field base here. Their commander was coordinating operations from the site and supplying the front lines. After gathering sufficient intel, the drone passed the coordinates to rocket forces. HIMARS received the data and opened fire. The first missile hit with deadly accuracy. The second followed immediately after. The second strike inflicted heavy Russian casualties. The key field base was obliterated. A Ukrainian drone spotted a Russian Panzer air defense system. Coordinates were immediately sent to HIMARS and a strike was launched. The HIMARS missile hit the target. It triggered a violent ammunition explosion. A nearby Russian radar crew just meters away watched as the system was wiped out. Ukrainian forces then discovered a Russian radar station operating in a field. The system was used to guide Grad or Uragan rocket attacks for large-scale bombardments. After the drone transmitted coordinates, HIMARS fired immediately. A direct hit. The Russian radar was heavily damaged. A Ukrainian drone spotted a Russian BM-21 Grad rocket launcher hidden in the tree line. It had just fired on Ukrainian positions. After the attack, Russian forces tried to camouflage the vehicle. The drone relayed the location, and HIMARS launched a missile. The first missile struck with precision. In the end, 2 Russian Grad launchers were destroyed. A Russian recon unit infiltrated deep into Ukraine on a critical intelligence mission. But a Ukrainian drone was monitoring the entire time. As the Russians stopped to deploy their drone, HIMARS opened fire. The missile hit the target precisely. The recon mission ended in disaster. A Ukrainian drone then located another Russian Buk air defense system. HIMARS received the coordinates and fired. It was a direct hit. The explosion was massive. The Russian air defense system was completely destroyed. A Ukrainian drone discovered a Russian BM-21 Grad launcher. It tracked its movement closely. Once it stopped, HIMARS opened fire. The missile hit at close range. Russian soldiers scrambled to relocate. They tried to hide the vehicle, but HIMARS didn't give them a chance to escape. A second missile was launched. It exploded nearby, causing severe damage. The Grad launcher was completely destroyed. Russian soldiers launched a long-range drone to identify targets on the battlefield. After the mission, they drove out to retrieve it. They stopped briefly to rest, unaware their position had already been exposed. A HIMARS missile landed just 1 meter from their truck. Russian soldiers fled in panic. The truck and drone were completely incinerated. 2 Russian BMT infantry fighting vehicles were abandoned after a failed assault. They were left behind. HIMARS struck both vehicles simultaneously. The accurate hits caused a massive blaze. Both vehicles were ultimately destroyed by fire. A Russian self-propelled gun fired on Ukrainian positions, then hid in the tree line. A Ukrainian drone transmitted its coordinates to HIMARS operators. A strike followed immediately. The missile exploded just meters from the target. A Russian radar station had locked onto a key target. Just as it began deploying its system, HIMARS launched a strike. The missile landed just a few meters away. Shrapnel caused severe damage and ignited the radar station. A Ukrainian drone spotted a Russian electronic warfare system hidden in the brush. HIMARS was ordered to take out the target. The first missile hit close to the mark. A second missile followed shortly after. It struck the electronic warfare system directly. It was a direct hit on the EW system. Ukrainian HIMARS achieved a perfect strike. A Ukrainian drone spotted an active Russian artillery unit. The unit was using heavy caliber guns to bombard Ukrainian positions. Coordinates were sent to HIMARS, and missiles were launched immediately. A precise hit. The blast triggered an ammo explosion. The artillery was burned up. A Ukrainian drone spotted a Russian U-277 Meteor mine-clearing vehicle hidden in the tree line. The Meteor vehicle was concealed among trees. It was originally designed to clear TNT mines, but the Russians were using it to strike Ukrainian cities. Ukrainian forces confirmed the target and sent coordinates. HIMARS was ordered to strike this high-value target. The missile hit nearby, and shrapnel inflicted lethal damage. 2 small craters were left on the ground. Russian BM-21 Grad launchers had shelled Ukrainian positions. After the attack, they tried to conceal the vehicle inside a fortified position. The crew hid it in reinforced cover. HIMARS launched a strike without delay. A direct hit on the target. The explosion ignited the ammunition. Moments later, a Ukrainian drone flew in to inspect. The Russian Grad launcher was completely destroyed. All that remained was a burned-out wheel. A Ukrainian drone spotted a Russian TOS thermobaric rocket system. The vehicle was camouflaged among the trees. Once HIMARS received the coordinates, it fired. Direct hit. A violent ammo explosion followed. The Russian rocket system was completely obliterated. Russian rocket forces prepared to use BM-27 Uragan launchers to bombard Ukrainian positions. But just minutes before the strike, a Ukrainian drone locked on. After sending the coordinates, HIMARS fired its missiles. Direct hit. The blast triggered a chain of ammo explosions. Shrapnel flew in all directions. A Russian electronic warfare system was located. Its vehicle was en route to a base. HIMARS received the coordinates and launched an attack. The first missile struck the target. Recon drones confirmed the EW system was destroyed. 2 more missiles were launched right after. They targeted Russian soldier shelters. The strike hit the Russian base precisely. The base was completely destroyed. A Russian air defense system was active near the front line. It had just shot down a Ukrainian drone minutes earlier. The crew tried to hide the equipment, but HIMARS made sure there was no escape. A precise strike set off an ammunition fire. The Russian air defense system was permanently disabled.